glorious people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Johans, and I am a man now. I am a man. I have a nectar card and a job. I am a man, and I feel good about this. I have grown! I've grown mighty and I have grown strong! And I want to talk a little about sort of the fragility of male confidence, the fragility of male perception of importance. Because you see, there are so many women out there, so many people of so many different ethnicities and cultures, and they are oppressed. These are people who are underpaid, overworked, who are discriminated against, who are abused, who are harassed, who are constantly threatened with acts of deportation because their parents happened to immigrate perfectly legally. Like, these are people who genuinely suffer, and most of the time they just get on with shit. They just fucking get on with shit, you know, like when they get really pissed, they'll, you know, stand around in the cold holding a placard saying, "Oi! Don't be dicks!" And yet white privileged fuckos like me, to be honest, we're very sensitive to the idea that our sense of pride and privilege and control is questioned. You know, it's referred to as sort of toxic masculinity, but it's not that in this instance. I think what it is just the idea that so much of the conventional heteronormative patriarchal way of being a white male is predicated on the schoolyard pecking order. It's predicated on the idea that anything different will get you marked out for being bullied, and it comes from this sense of inferiority and nervousness, and if I don't beat them, then everybody's gonna think I'm the weird one, they're gonna beat me, and I don't want to be beaten, I'm a cool kid, so I'm gonna beat him, and everybody's gonna know I'm important, and they're gonna treat me right, and if they don't treat me right, then I'll beat them, because that's how the schoolyard works. I'm important because I beat other people, and that is how the schoolyard works, and that is kind of, I think, how we as young white men end up becoming such cunts in our lives. I mean, even me, you know, I am, by the standards of the people who watch my videos, by the standards of the people who will be disliking what I am saying here, I am probably as far to the left as a sissy Watson as any kind of whatever, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But at the same time, I know I am an incredibly insecure person because I look at my fiction, and it's like pretty much every single fetish I have is just, yes, and then I will be Lord Powerful, Major Master of the world, and the earth, and the multiverse, and everyone shall love me, and all the pretty girls shall want my penis, and it will be amazing, right? Calling Dr. fucking Freud. You know, I know I'm insecure, and it turns out I have reasons to be insecure, because basically I've got fucked up genetics, and I'm going to die early, and I've got a tiny cock and balls, right? Like, I have reason to want to fucking make up for something, right? And yet there are so many young men kind of not like me, but in similar sort of circumstances, who feel this same sense of fragility when they don't need to, because that's what the schoolyard just sort of drills into you. Because if you aren't picking on other people, if you aren't rich enough, if you don't dress the right way, if you don't say the right things, if you don't say things in the right way, and then you're gonna be cast out. You're gonna be inferior. You're not gonna have friends. You're not gonna have girlfriends. You're not gonna be a man. And it the whole be a man thing, the whole man up, man card, you're a wimp, you're a sissy, it actually, makes me think back to, Dennis the Menace, and how, Dennis's ultimate, nemesis was Walter the Softy. And it's like the white male persona is predicated upon bullying to avoid being bullied yourself. So of course we think that if we give in and we acknowledge other people as equal, of course we think that if we stop bullying people, then we're going to get bullied, because that's how the schoolyard works. Because if you're nice to the weird kid, then they're going to think you're weird as well, and you're going to get shat on instead. Well, okay, not shat on, but you're going to get egged, you're going to get, your hair lit on fire, you're going to get, beaten up, vomited on, like, if you stick by those who are trod on, you're going to get trod on yourself. If you stand up for them, if you even say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, then you're fucked yourself. So you join in the attack, and you beat them up, and you say, I'm not someone you should pick on, because they are the person we should pick on. And to a certain extent, that is just the schoolyard. The schoolyard is horrible, and it's a nasty, nasty place where everybody just beats up everybody else, and it's very, very nasty, very, very horrible. And maybe things have changed. Maybe nowadays, the future generations are going to be a lot better at not being cunts, because they're dealing with bullying effectively, because they are standing up for other people. But somehow I don't trust in human behavior like that. Or at least I trust that human behavior is innately a little bit shitty. The whole idea that the reason we got such big brains, the reason that we are so intelligent, is because effectively it made us better predators and better able to kill things. The fact that the idea being that we have culture now, and money and capitalism and all of this, because once upon a time it was necessarily it enabled us to better easily kill things before they killed us, and therefore to eat them. And so there is something innately predatory about us, or at least that's my sort of belief and perception. So I'm not necessarily sure the future generations are going to get out of the schoolyard issue. But clearly, women, trans people, people who have or various different ethnicities and racial characteristics and different cultures, clearly they manage to sort of grow out of the schoolyard picking on other people to feel superior thing, and the anxiety that if you don't pick on other people, well, you'll be next. Whereas us white men, we haven't grown out of that. We too many of us think that if we get even equal service to someone that in our screwed up heads we think should be inferior to us, then we think that's a slight against us and we need to lash out and we need to pick on them, because if we don't, it's going to be us next. And it's this idea that, you know, you've got to be a cunt, because if you're not going to be a cunt, someone's going to be a cunt to you. And you know what? Actually, that's a bullshit idea. I think it's an idea that makes sense in school because it's a very juvenile way to look at the world. It's certainly a very crude understanding of cause and effect. But in the main, the smarter you are, the more you understand that being on peace terms with everyone and understanding them and treating them with respect means they're going to be more likely to understand, treat you with respect, means they're going to be less likely to hurt you, and, you know, then you can not only avoid getting beaten up and killed, but, you know, you can actually make joint progress on things together. And so, yeah, I think really, like, men are insecure, and that's a problem, because we're shitting on other people when we shouldn't be as a result. We are making ourselves stupider because we aren't willing to accept differences in other people, because we aren't willing to, because we're too nervous about the possibility of standing up for other people, because we're too nervous about the possibility of not lashing out, because we're too nervous that if other people have nice stuff done to them, then we're going to be the people who get beat up. And I think that is a very dangerous way to think. And I think that we need to stop thinking that way. So I think this was just, you know, sort of my own personal take on the whole idea of, you know, white male fragility. And obviously I understand the majority of the people who subscribe to my videos aren't going to agree with this. And I'm sure they will make sure to say so in the comments and, you know, reassert how very, very better they are than me, and therefore, in their minds, you know, prevent themselves from being bullied by saying, "Oh, you're such a cuck, oh, kill yourself, oh, you're sissy, you're a cuck on cunny, fuck you." And, you know, that's their right. They are fine to be stupid reactionary bigots. Anyway, I'm going to go and get a kebab. And when I say a kebab, what I mean is I will go and get some fried meat of slightly dubious origin, because I want to eat something that tastes glorious but is probably drastically bad for my health. I've been Alexander Golden Hands. You are probably very upset with me now. And that'll be all for today. Goodbye. Thank you to all my Patreons at patreon.com for helping to make videos like this possible. If you wish to leave a like or dislike to rate the video for my analytics, that would be much appreciated. Comments are always welcome, though be aware that they will be moderated before being published, so please be civil. If you liked this video, please consider adding it to your favourites, sharing it to your friends, or subscribing. If you wish to help me out, or my channels, please consider whitelisting my videos in your adblock software, subscribing for monthly donations through Patreon, or giving a small one-off donation. Alternatively, I have a Steam wishlist for games I would consider Let's Playing or streaming, so if you would like to see me broken before the Dark Souls altar, or just happen to have gotten a duplicate of a game in a humble bundle, then you know what to do. I also have an official Facebook fan page, Twitter account, Tumblr, Reddit and blog, so you can stay up to date with all of my videos, blog articles and the things I care about. Links are in the video description. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I think that all that now needs to be said is ban all guns, institute universal basic income now, and ensure government is elected by proportional representation. Oh, and also, fuck the racists and fuck the alt-right.